Now today, I want to go through a very old but very relevant topic for recruiters, which is you cannot manage what you can't measure. Now, before you switch off and go, oh my God, just one about KPIs, it's not really about that. I want to tell you a story, okay? It won't take long. So, as you all know, type 1 diabetic. And I know a few listeners here, or at least one listener here, is a type 1 diabetic. So you'll understand where I'm going with this. But there is a test we do every 6 months to basically work out what is the average blood glucose level in your body. Because the higher your blood average is, or blood glucose average is, it's a very, very clear predictor of some pretty bad health repercussions down the line. So you want to keep that as low as possible. Now, an ordinary person without diabetes will probably be at about 5.5. And they say for a type 1 diabetic, you want to be under 7.1. Now, I went and got my result on Friday, and I came in at 6.4, which is actually an improvement. It's very hard to manage your sugars. I'm not on a pump. I do it all manually. So 6.4 is the best it's been in a long time. In fact, I think it was 6.8 last time. So it's come right down. And the doctor said, what's changed? He asked me the question, what have you done in the last 6 months that's different? And it was a very simple answer that I gave him. I started measuring my insulin doses. So I have this app, and it's a pain in the ass, but I have to, every time I have an injection, I have like 10 a day, I'll put in that dose. And I used to do it as a kid in this logbook. I used to write it down, hand and paper, but I was a kid and I kind of lost track of that. So it was about 6 months ago. I said, I just want to start tracking. It was because I started forgetting what I was doing. I was forgetting, did I have my dose? Did I have my insulin or not? And so when I started tracking it, it has influenced how my behaviors go. And it's interesting, right? So I want to land this back in the world of recruitment in a sec, but when I started measuring my insulin doses, I didn't really sit down and analyze it. I didn't run it through like an algorithm. There was nothing telling me. I didn't talk to a consultant to say, oh, now here's all my doses, here's what's happening, whatever. I did none of that, right? Purely tracking the dose influenced the results. And I found that really fascinating when we got that result back. And I start thinking about, how does this apply to the world of work? Now, again, we can't manage what you can't measure, right? And KPIs, we love them, we hate them. They're just indicators. And so I started thinking about this, and I thought, am I tracking the right things? Because if it to be true for my blood sugars, if I can track my insulin doses and that influences positively my results for my blood sugars, why wouldn't the same be true for recruiting? Why wouldn't the same be true for, let me just start measuring this, whatever it is, let me just measure it. I'm not going to analyze it. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to overthink it. That's the part people hate doing, right? I'm just going to track it, and let's just see if it influences my desk. Now, logic says to me that it will influence it. And I've talked about this metric before, the metrics that matter, or if you had only one KPI that you had to pick, what would it be? For me, I want you guys to try this for me this week, this month, and just see if it moves the needle for you. And you can probably see why this is going to start influencing you. I want to start just writing down every first interview. Now, I track every first interview, but I don't consciously go, I got 1 today, I got 2 today, I got 4 this week, I got 5 this week. I don't do that. I just track my pipeline. So I'm always aware of, have I got something in my first interviews, second interviews, pendings in my pipeline. But I'm going to start tracking, simply just start recording whenever I get a first interview. Guess what? When you start tracking a first interview, you can bet your bottom dollar the day you don't get a first interview, you'll feel it. I didn't get one today. So what does your brain naturally or instinctively do in that situation? It starts searching for first interviews, because that's the metric you're measuring. If you were to measure something else, like how many times you went to the bathroom in a day, guess what? You're going to either do more, you're going to drink, you're going to go, okay, I really like going to the bathroom. Who's not? You're probably going to stop drinking water because I'm going to the bathroom too often. Like, not that you want to drink less water, but you see my point. When you start consciously thinking about these things that are in your desk or in your day, your behaviors will change depending on whether you favor it or don't favor it. So if we decide that first interviews are bloody good for our desk, because they are, we all know that if you're getting first interviews, your recruiting up until that point is spot on. You've got a market, you've got clients, you've got good candidates, you're getting interviews. And after that first interview, it's just managing the deal through. For me, that's the perfect inflection point to be measuring. If all you measure today and all you measure at your desk is first interviews, I dead set think you're going to make a lot of money. And I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to start tracking it. There is no right or wrong number. There is just your number, right? Start tracking it. If you're in a temp market and you're flying out, multiple people a day, you're going to get a lot of first interviews, right? Because they're happening all the time. But maybe you're in a very scarce market, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all relevant to your desk. There's no right or wrong when it comes to this metric. But I think if you, by the very nature of just recording it, don't even have to tell your boss, don't even have to tell your colleagues, just start keeping track of your first interviews or whatever metric you think is important and just watch what happens. All your behaviors, all your energy, all of your activities will start to push. Like, how do I get another one? How do I get another one? And when we get obsessed with these things, right, then the results start to come. If you were just to say it's like my metric is how much can I make in a week, great. But it's also, that's an outcome. Like an outcome that sometimes is outside of our control. I do genuinely feel like first interviews are within our realm of control because it's up to you to work with the clients, to get good briefs, to get good candidates, to be the trusted advisor in the market to get those first interviews. I do think you've got some level of control there. If you get to the end of a process and a candidate says, no, I don't want to take that job, that's a lot harder for you to say, I've got that control. I mean, we can put stops and processes in that a whole lead up to it to hope that we get the outcome we want. But you see what I'm saying with this. I would be tracking first interviews. Let's start doing that because you can't manage what you can't measure. Okay? And I've proved that with my diabetes and my average blood glucose by simply logging my dose. No analytics, no review, no AI, simply recording it. That should make a lot of sense for a recruitment desk. Start measuring your first interviews. Like, share, subscribe. Helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day. May all your deals come true.